For understanding the two concepts and two steps process, let us go through some examples. Let us first briefly review what is the two concepts and two steps procedure. You can find in the description a link to full details of this process. We can simplify the full length of instructions of this method as the analysis of definitions and logical consistency after simplification in two concepts and two steps. The two concepts are 1. Defining terms clearly and sticking to them. 2. Logical consistency is central to reasoning. Two steps are 1. Simplify the given argument. 2. Analyze deliberately the departure from the two concepts in given argument. First, we will go through one correct argument and then three incorrect ones about violating the simplicity definition and logical connections. Example 1. Correct argument. 1. All curious people are creative. 2. Some analysts are curious people. It is already written in simplified form. A simple sentence usually informs us about relation of two terms, e.g., if x then y, or some z is a. In this case, there are three terms or concepts: curious people, creative, and analysts. Assuming the definition of each term is clearly understood, we proceed to application of second step of finding logical connections. First of all, we must know that each claim 1 and 2 is already showing a logical connection between the terms it uses. Using these connections, we would like to find out a new connection within all the three terms used in two claims, 1 and 2. To do so, we must begin by identifying terms that are common. We can see that the term curious people is common between the terms analysts and creative. Let us see the diagram. In this diagram we can see that the box of entitled creative covers a small box entitled curiouses. This implies all curios are creative. Each box classifies individuals. In addition, it is not clear if all curious are analysts or not. It is also not clear if all analysts are curios or not. What is clear is that at least one curious person is analyst because we know that some curios are analysts. To show this unclear state of our information, we do not draw a box. Instead, we draw one curious person in a different color. This color shows that we know that at least one of them is for sure both curious and analyst, but we have no idea about rest. Remember, we are supposed to stick to certainty and assert only that which we can say with confidence. We will discuss departure from this principle in lectures. Now we can see that the box curiouses forms a connection or a bridge between other two terms and allows us to move from analysts to creative. However, it is a connection only. To transform it into a logical connection, we need more information about nature of relation, which is determined by such logical concepts: all, some, no, possible, necessary, etc. In this case, we can see that some analysts are creative by being also curios because curios are always creative. Moreover, the meanings of each term do not violate coherence, being analyst, curios and creative do not contradict each other. Hence we can simplify and restate some analysts are creative. This is new logical connection previously not known. Alternatively, we can simplify using the diagram and remove the box that forms bridge between analysts and creative. Because it is the common point that connects the two, we can simplify the diagram, or the two logical connections, and state only one, i.e. some analysts are creative. As we shall see in coming 3 examples, this method helps identify fallacies very easily. Examples. Incorrect argument, identifying fallacies. Example 1. Violating the definitions. Knowledge is power. Power tends to corrupt. Therefore, knowledge tends to corrupt. First of all, we define terms. To save time, we only define power. This word is used twice. In the first instance, in its essence, it means authority in some field of research. We call it power of type 1. In the second instance, in its essence, it means the control over others for satisfying egotistical ends. We call it power of type 2. Next, we proceed to investigate logical connection among terms. We rewrite. Knowledge is power of type 1. Power of type 2 tends to corrupt. Therefore, knowledge tends to corrupt. Now we should observe if there are terms that logically connect knowledge with the term corrupt. It is clear that there is no common point between knowledge and corrupt, since the word power is used in 2 different meanings. Once we entitle them differently, because they are different in meanings, this lack of connection becomes visible. Based on this, we can say the conclusion, therefore, knowledge tends to corrupt, is not possible. Example 2. Violating the simplicity. We are given the definition of an idea as follows. Having an idea is to generate the findings of an intense, abstract cognitive experiment. Now we can already notice that this definition of the idea is quite complex. We need to understand a cognitive experiment. Not only so, we need to contrast the abstract cognitive experiment from a concrete one. Afterwards, we must also comprehend the concept of an intense experiment of such kind. Do we have no idea if we do not conduct an intense experiment? Finally, if somehow we can comprehend all this complexity, we would still require to know what it means to generate the findings in such a scenario. How can we generate findings, when findings simply means collection of observations? What is generating as opposed to collecting? In short, we're lost in a maze of ideas leading to others' ideas and questions. And it seems hard to come out of this maze. On the other hand, if we simply say, having an idea means to have some hint about possible cause of something, these are simpler ideas which do not leave us in a maze. Therefore, a proposition, definition, or an argument which leaves us in a maze of thoughts which is too difficult and complex to comprehend must be avoided in favor of a simple idea which anyone can comprehend easily. Example 3. Violating the logical connections. We are given the death penalty as cause of increased crime because we have witnessed an increased number of crime after the death penalty was enforced. This increased number of crime is evident from increased number of criminals caught and imprisoned. Therefore, death penalty caused increase of crime. Assuming that all words are clearly understood, let us rewrite it for simplifying. To keep examples brief, I am leaving the details of simplification process which are self-evident here. The number of criminals in prisons increased after death penalty was enforced. Therefore, the death penalty is the cause of increased crime. We must ask, what is logical connection between two terms, increased after and the cause of? If two events occur successively, it may mean a correlation. It may mean a causal relation, it may mean a third factor that is common cause, or it may in fact mean that the two are cause and effect of each other, reinforce each other. Therefore, the terms increase after and the cause of do not logically connect with one another, because there is no logical connection between the terms used in the premises and the conclusion. The conclusion of this argument, therefore, the death penalty is the cause of increased crime, does not follow. Therefore, it is a fallacious argument.